Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, still going looking at the Ether Drift Legends, and today going back to Speedland and Far Fortune the end boss. Two black and a red for a 4/5 human mercenary. I'm a little disappointed, doesn't look like The Rock in his nice white suit for when he's been playing the end boss in WWE, but hey, whatever. Mad Max, here we go. Human mercenary, start your engines. We have the speed thing, get damage into each opponent or turn to increase our speed up to 4 if we can. But whenever you attack, Far Fortune deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay, like that as a starting point. And then max speed, if a source you would control would deal damage to opponent or permanent opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 1 instead. Right, so let me get this right. Far Fortune helps you get your speed up because you're just going to attack. Right, okay, we can do that. That deals damage, so your speed goes up from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 over 3 turns. That's fine. But then when you're at max speed, you get an extra point of damage. So when you attack after that, you do 2 damage. Yeah, okay, this card's strong, Commander. No if, buts, or maybes about this. I'm pretty sure the deck I'm now going to show off isn't built to the optimum. I'm sure it can be done better. But it's definitely, most definitely a starting point for this card. So here we go. Here's what today's deck looks like. Now, to my mind, there's 2 builds for this. The first build is you play a whole load of haste creatures, so you just attack to build your speed up. Or you play things that let you do a little bit of trickiness. And I've gone down the tricky road today. So there may be a second build of this coming in the future, where we look at Far Fortune from a let's play all the haste creatures point of view. We've got a few creatures in here. We've got a few things in here that help. But yeah, I'm not sure. But we're going to start with this version. So Bowmat Carrier has got haste, I'm aware of that, but that just helps me draw my cards, which is why I have the Bowmat here. Kedrick Parasite, however, is a bit more fun. Whenever an opponent draws a card, if you control a red permanent, you may have Kedrick Parasite deal 1 damage to that player. Now, obviously, has to be in your turn to do the damage, but, it's still there, and it sits there and pings people around. Generous Plunderer will deal the damage in our turn when we attack, because we'll chuck a treasured token at someone, attack them, get the damage in, increases our speed. And then Geth, the Scaled Scorch, also comes in. Quite like this. We haven't really got any other lizard spells, so not worried about the second and the third ability. But the Ward 2 on a 3/2, well, with pay 2 life for the Ward on a 3/2 is quite nice. But other creatures you control with enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. Okay, like that a lot on this deck. Make our creatures really big since we're looking at a commander. Croxer, Titan of Death's Hunger's in. Each opponent comes into play, attacks, each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who can't discard a non-land card from this way loses their 3 life. Fine by me. Robber of the Rich has got haste and nicks things. Stormfist Crusader. This does trigger Far Fortune on each of your turns, because at the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses a life. Bang. There's your trigger each turn for speed with Far Fortune in this deck. Alicia, who laughs at fate, comes back in. Whenever Alicia attacks, you put +1/+1 counter on it, and then you can drop a mana creature, return target creature with mana value less than or equal to Alicia's power from your graveyard to the battlefield at the beginning of our end step. Like that plan, that's cool. Mastermind Plum I put in. Whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, you could draw a card and lose a life. That's fine, a little bit of card draw for us. But when it attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. If an artifact card was exiled this way, get a treasure token. I like that plan a lot. That's cool. Mayhem Devil's here because, hey, let's sacrifice some treasures around and ping people. Phyrexian Dragon Engine is in. Yeah, enters battlefield, you may discard your hand. If you do draw 3 cards, that's fine. But it's here because I want to play Mishras, and I haven't played Mishras for a while, so we're in. Professional Facebreaker gives us treasures, as we know. Vile Smasher the Fierce. Nice way of just making sure we get our damage in. Once we have Far Fortune in play, we just cast a spell with them both in play. And yeah, there goes the damage to a random opponent. And we get to increase our speed. Anger's in to get in the graveyard so we can have the haste for everything. Hellrider doubles up on the attack triggers when we go with this. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it deals 1 damage to the defending player. That's quite nice. Hero of Oxid Ridge for the Battlecry effect. Mishra, claimed by Gix, because I wanted to play them both basically. So the Dragon Engine and the claimed by Gix is here. Hopefully we get to merge them and turn them into the big Mishra lost to the Phyrexia at some stage, because whenever we attack we can choose 3 and the 3 damage to any target helps us out, and then creatures we don't control get -1/-1. Yep, I'm happy with that plan. Mogus, God of Slaughter, just a way of keeping everyone's opponents under control, and it's, you know, you're playing a black-red deck, you've got to play Mogus somehow. Frost, God of the Forge, another way of triggering our speed. You all know what it does. Creature enters 2 damage to each opponent. Rakdos, the Lord of Riots, is here. Hopefully we'll get opponents to lose spells, and then we get this going, and then it makes our creature spells cost a lot less for a turn. Valgavoth's in, the Harrow of Souls version from Duskmourn. When an opponent loses life for the first time during each of your turns, put a +1/+1 counter on Valgavoth and draw a card. Yeah, okay then. Lots of card draw going on with this deck, with a bit of luck. Alcazod's the Deepest Betrayal, just give us some discard of some bats, hopefully. Dragonhort, Fate's Tempers, because it does still deal damage, so yeah, happy with that plan. Goldspan for the treasures. Mishra, Tamer of Makfawa, is also in, because I do like the idea of our permanents having a ward where opponents have to sacrifice things. Like that plan. Terror of the Peaks is also in. Chuck around some damage. The Lord of Pain, also from Duskmourn. Your opponents can't gain life. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to chosen player. Okay then, that's fine. You do get hated playing the Lord of Pain, just so we're clear. So you do make yourself a target when you drop this. Bear that in mind. Twin Flame Tyrant for doubling up of the damage. Ancient Copper Dragon for the treasures. Grave Titan for the zombies. And for some reason, I've got 2 copies of Overlord of Boil Barges. 1 second. Gotta love the magic. 1 copy of the Overlord of the Boil Barges here, just chuck around the damage. And then finally, because I'm playing a black deck, my pet card Archon of Cruelties here. Feel free to drop this and change it for something else, but I just like the Archon. 1 Planeswalker, Chandra Pyrogenius is in, because it +2 to deal 2 damage to each opponent, so get your speed on the go. And then we have a few spells, not too many. End of Festivities, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and Planeswalker they control, so that's quite a nice way of getting your max speed up. Lightning Bolt, yep. Vandal Blast to deal with all the artifacts. Terminate, Chaos Warp to deal with annoying permanents. Jessica's Will for the mana and the cards. Big Score for the treasures and the cards. Damnation to control the board. Mana Geyser for a turn of real extra mana if we need it. And Blasphemous Act for even more board control. Artifacts went a bit heavy. Mana Vault's in, so cut this if you want to cut the cost of your deck down. It can be Elixir of Immortality, but I've played Elixir a lot in the decks this last few weeks, so I'm having a day off from it. So Mana Vault's in. Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, both medallions, Rakdos Signet. The boots are here just to protect Far Fortune once we get him on play, and then we've got a couple of bits for equipment, not too many. Andril, oh god, that's a horrible version of it. Let me find a nice picture of that, because the internet's picked up the wrong one for me. Hold on. I have a version we can read now. Andril, Flame of the Rest, 3 mana, 2 to equip, 3/3/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you get 2 tap 1/1 white flying creature spirits with tokens with flying, and if it's equipped for a legendary creature, there create 2 of these tokens that are taps and attacking instead. There we go. So we can put it on Far Fortune if we need to, but it's just a nice bit of equipment to get another little bit of if we can get it on there, taps and attacking, fine by me. Bontu's Monument, Hazard's Monument, to reduce the casting cost of our black and red creature spells, and a little bit of life gain, life loss from Bontu's, a little bit of no, not looting, whatever the red version is that I've forgotten now, completely gone from my head. Discard a card. Rummaging, that's the phrase we're using. Discard a card, draw a card, that's fine. Reaver Cleaver for a little bit more treasure token generation, and Hex Plate Wall Breaker. Yeah, for Mirrodin, so it comes into play tapped with 2/2, and then if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap each attacking creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So yeah, gets you some extra damage in with Far Fortune. So we can play a lot of extra turns, combat spells if you want to, but I've only gone with this one. Could be another one to look at, so maybe another version of Far Fortune yet, but we'll see. Anyway, Impact Tremors, creatures come in, 1 damage to each opponent, triggers a speed. Descent into Avarice, because who doesn't like having treasure tokens, even if it does cause them damage. Loot Dispute comes into play, we get the initiative and get a treasure token, and then whenever we attack a player who has the initiative, we get a treasure token, and then hopefully we'll complete a dungeon at some stage and get a 5/5 dragon creature. That's fine. Spiteful Unrest, just a fun way of making sure people are taking damage for the card draw they're doing. Uncivil Unrest, so we can give our non-token creatures riot, and then if they deal damage for a permanent, or when they deal damage to a permanent or a player, it deals damage that doubled instead if we've put the +1/+1 token on it. I'm really enjoying this card. Expect to see it in most red decks going forward from here if needed. Fire Emancipation, City on Fire. Let's just make sure we triple up the damage that we're dealing as things go along. Lands, black-red lands all the way through. 3 mountains, 3 swamps to the basic. Everything else is a black-red land, with the usual exceptions. Cost of the deck, because the bad lands, drop it, replace it, put another mountain in if you need to. But it's all the usual selections here. A couple of interesting ones. I have put Command Beaconing, so I'm a bit worried about the cost of Far Fortune once they've been killed off a couple of times. So that gives away shortcutting it for 1 turn. We have got Field of the Dead here. We have got in Reliquary Tower somewhere. There you go. And Temple of the False God to help us all out. But that's it. That is my take on Far Fortune. I personally think that we have another very strong red-black commander coming in from the main set. Not quite at the level of Valgavoth in his red-black form, or the Lord of Pain, although I know they're both in the deck. But we're not far off it, purely because of the static. You don't have to attack with Far Fortune. It just says whenever you attack, Far Fortune deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's just good. I think the haste deck is something I will have to look at in a few weeks' time. But for now, thanks for watching. If you think there's anything I've missed off, leave me a comment down below. Subscribe if you can. I do appreciate it. We're still, as I record this, I'm still trying to hit the magic 600 number. So all subscriptions are very welcome. If I've hit that by the time you see this video, thank you to everybody who subscribed. I really do appreciate it. But for now, I'll be back hopefully very soon with this on stream or somewhere, and keep an eye on YouTube. Hopefully my move doesn't get in the way of everything, but we'll see. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye bye.